What's up? I've got problems over here with the speech lag, even though I'm working really hard to record my videos later on in the day. I'm still getting speech lag, so I don't even know what to do anymore. But it doesn't really matter. Insofar as you can hear the audio, we're good. I apologize if you were distracted by me working on the side over here, yeah, because I'm doing edits at the same time. You guys know I am a busy lady. I was talking in the previous part about these witches that exhaust me. Whoa, like there's so much of a speech lag. I get to saying, like, Papa, I don't have choices. I don't have options. Like, all I have is this phone. Like, that's it. So, really and truly, speech lag or not, as long as the audio is audible, that's all that matters. There's really nothing else I can do. Like, Papa, I'm gonna help. So, let's just move on. Let life be life. And let God be God and serve God instead of Baal. Booyah, done deal. Absolutely sealed, finalized and completed. Amen. Dankie san. Yazen, man. Ke phrase wa ke taba ya hore ke dula ke sa tlhaloganye hore ke felletse guy lost. I'm sorry for, and let me go back to English. I apologize. Yes, I was talking about these witches. Okay, fine. I found what I was looking for, so I won't be that distracted. Yeah, no, they keep trying to come, not keep trying. They successfully come back into the lives of people that have no clue what in the world under heaven they did. These witches are not going to suddenly, if they were so jealous of you to a point of wanting to destroy you, or if they were so resentful of you to a point of wanting to kill you, they're not now all of a sudden going to want you to live out the rest of your days stretching out well into your 90s and 100s. No. They're gonna try to see if they can't finish you off. So when people survive them, they come back to them. Baya. But they don't come back because, ooh, I see where I was wrong, I like you. They come back so they can finish you off. Umuntu that tried to kill you, what are you doing hanging out with them? A person that stole your career or that tried to decimate your future, Oscar recovered. And then you get another job interview after losing your previous job, and now you are successful, you're thriving. They have no business being in your life. Think of it this way. If somebody tried to kill you and you actually died, they would not be coming to even see you go cemetery. They would not be coming to see you anymore. So when they come knocking on your door after a failed death spell, what are they doing? They're just like in Kill Bill. Anyway, you get my point. You know that woman with the patch on her eye that comes in whistling do 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 those last 4 whistles is her getting real close to Uma Thurman and driving in some kind of like medication, some kind of injectable into a stream to finish her off while she's in a coma. That like lady with the patch on her eye, that's part of the Deadly Vipers Assassination Club or whatever, that initially tried to kill Uma Thurman. In Kill Bill, she comes to the hospital when she is in a coma on summer. Yeah, trying to finish her off. That's what these people are like. Like, when they come back, they are whistling with a deadly injection in their hands to see you when you are blind, dead, comatose from what they did at first. Bill stops her on some note. She deserves to be well awake and alive when you kill her, because she has to be given an opportunity to fight for herself. And this chick is like all angry, you know, and then she leaves anyway. Ultimately, Uma Thurman kills that woman. If anything, she doesn't kill her. She takes out her second eye, and then she ends up getting killed by a snake in the room. That's what's good. Yeah, in that like trailer that she is at. Yeah, these randos will come to you when you are blind, unaware as to what happened to you. So the only way to be afforded the kind of opportunity that Bill gave Uma Thurman before that assassin lady killed her is to know Jesus, because he will let you know some assassin is coming and she wants to kill you. But now you have weapons And the weapons of your warfare are not carnal, but are mighty in God for the pulling down of strongholds. He will give you a full armor. He will give you a sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. He will give you prayer. He will give you power above serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and you will be able to trample them underfoot when they come your way. He will give you the warrior status that we all gain as Christians. He will alert you to the spiritual battle in question, and so you will fast, you will pray, you will do what you need to do, and her weapons will be obliterated. So, you will gouge out the second eye, and she will roll around on the floor, and the very serpent that she tried to bring into your corner, your doorstep, your household, to kill you, will kill her, since she's busy screaming around in a trailer about the fact that you took her second eye. That's what's good. The Lord will give you an opportunity to fight and win. Since you are given everything you need in order to live a life in godliness, He will not let you lose when you are sleeping. This, like animal in America, I nearly lost to him. He rocked up, tried to come the second time after I killed him, and it was only once I found out I was out of a coma. I found out what he was into. I knew that I knew it, and now I am at war with him. Now I am fighting for my life, and I am making, like, I have declared war on him. And this is a trial by ordeal, where I am literally gunning for that guy's extinction from the planet, because he won't leave me alone with his witchcraft. And he keeps on burning a candle in order to obliterate me. There's some candle that he burns, it's a death candle. At the end of it burning, I have to be dead. Each time, he keeps trying to. Why chise? And when he burns that candle, I get inebriated with depression, despair, a lot of sorrow. And I have to fight it and fight it and fight it. I've been making war like no man's business. Ultimately, Tobaela is gonna die. He's gonna die. But by the time he passes away, I will have been basically entered into a cockpit to fight him, instead of him coming to a hospital where I'm laying on a bed, unable to fight for myself since I'm in a coma, and finish me off. He was not awarded an opportunity. That's what I'm explaining to you guys. The Lord would not allow him to finish me off. He was like Bill in that regard. On some, she deserves an opportunity to go to war with a devil worshipper that is trying to kill her. She deserves to know that this guy is exactly what he is. And only once I found out did I declare war on him. Since I guess, oh, look, I reacted. What I did was in defense to myself, much like Israel's reaction to the Hamas infiltration. That's what's good. It is a response, a reaction. However, I've got stronger weapons, just like Israel has stronger ones against Hamas. I am going to finish that guy off. It's that basic. And I will on that day sing Cell Block Tango. He had it coming. He had it coming. The audacity. Trying to freaking infect me with HIV. Coming into the life of a woman, blinding her to his disease. How naive he was. I would have asked him to take a test as soon as he landed in South Africa, so I get over and above so many other things he tried to do to me. That's the kind of rubbish that these people with nonsense insist on doing. The guy, the US, right? After because he was rude, he acted a fool. And then the relationship ended, and in the beginning, he didn't care. Ultimately, I moved on. That's what's good. And when then I survived all his affliction. In the beginning, I was crying and complaining when I found out about his witchcraft. I was talking about how some Satanist, some devil worshipper, some Satanist, some devil worshipper, some Satan, like on YouTube. I kept rapping on and on about how I am being abused by some devil worshipper. And at the time, I used to have comments open on my videos. And a lot of the people that would comment would say stuff like, yo, this, like, lady, you're crazy. You can't, everything you talk about is about Satanists and devil worshippers and all that stuff. Come on, the world is not that dark, it's not that deep. Maybe you need to go and see a psychiatrist. That's when I realized that these witches literally they rely on the fact that a lot of people, when you highlight that God gave you a dream about witchcraft in operation, that a lot of people in the world will basically be in unbelief and say of you, who are claiming these things on a rooftop, that you're crazy. They will call you crazy when you know it's true. So I changed my strategy. First of all, I closed my comment section. And secondly, I also changed how I spoke about the kingdom of darkness. I rather spoke from a vantage point where instead of highlighting that little animal's insanity, I was talking about their strategies, how they operate, how they gaslight, and how they lean on the ignorance of the world pertaining their works, and so therefore turn the world against their victims, who end up looking like paranoid schizophrenics. I changed my tone. And in changing my tone, that's when I started to gain subscribers. People started to relate with me because now I was speaking from a vantage point that was ubiquitous and general instead of speaking about it being my own life story. I changed my tone and it caused me to win a lot more support and a lot more respect. Once I was winning subscribers and once I was winning respect and people no longer basically reacting to me like I'm a crazy, schizophrenic, paranoid woman, this guy saw that I was cool now, I was surviving. And guess what he did? How typical. So very unfortunate. He thoroughly sent me emails on some, hey, how you doing? And then he would also send me money and stuff like that, trying to come back into my life. I was like, Pumagi Muyataga, what in the world? Like proper. He thoroughly gaslit me. He knew what I was saying on YouTube about him. He knew that I had busted him for doing witchcraft. And he just told himself that it's witchcraft. She does not have proof. She second guesses herself. Even herself, she is unsure if I'm into the stuff. So I'm gonna act like nothing is wrong. Apologizing to me for only ghosting me. Instead of basically confessing that I've been a prolific devil worshipper. When I would tell him, leave me alone, you need deliverance, he would leave me alone for a couple of months, come back again, send me money again. I would tell him, hamba pumagim. The next time, wabuya. I then told him again about the witchcraft that he was involved in, following which I then told him that on top of that, I'm not going to be any man's third wife. I basically brought out all of his statistics, and it was in bringing out his stats that he started to be rude and respond to me on some, I feel like you need to go and see a shrink, go and see a therapist, you're crazy, the things you're saying on the rooftops. I was like, there it is. Gaslighting. When I told him that not only do all of your stats suck, random baby daddy not taking care of some of your children, you also are into witchcraft, and I know of some sorcery that you paid almost $1,000 to some Jamaican sorcerer to get to me, and you are really embittered by having parted ways with $1,000 for something that did not pay off for you. When I told him that, that's when wahlanya over email, and that was also the last deposit he ever made in my bank account because he saw I was not coming back. But that was not enough to get him to leave me alone. I then got another dream. Yes, like there's not a dream, an email from him where he tried to come back again. But prior to that email, about 2 days before, I got a dream where I saw some giant manhood, like as in manhood, you know, like a man's, like said, yeah, loins. I saw a giant manhood with a condom on it, wrapped in an American flag, basically flying to South Africa. And that was God showing me this person wants to come into your life and negotiate for his stay in your life despite his HIV by saying we can use condoms. And when I saw that, I was so disgusted. Lo and behold, 2 days later, he emails me. You can imagine my reaction to his email. That's when I declared war on him. I declared war. There was a time when I wasn't even talking about that guy in my ministry. He was that old news. But the amount of war that he has declared back on me has made it such that all I can do is talk about him on a loop. So first I was in a coma. I got out of it, and now I am actively fighting him, gouging out his eyes and everything, waiting for a serpent to finish him off. And until he is in the ground, this war's not gonna end. This war's not gonna end. That's that guy from America. There are many others of that nature in the occult. But busy Ghana and you and you and you and you and you. Busy. And so you who is in a slumber, thank the Lord that he has protected you from being assassinated while you sleep. But in the absence of repenting and opening up your eyes, therefore waking up from your slumber, you will be finished off by some deadly assassin that God will finally be like, I've given you grace. I've given you time to wake up and you didn't. So I will allow you to capitulate to all the spells that are cast on you. And you're going to find yourself in eternity having to account to a holy God why you did not repent, why you did not give your life over to him, why you did not respond to the call of the gospel, because the thing that finally finished you off was the thing that God protected you for 20 years against. But at some point he cut off your grace because you were not repenting. You were taking his grace for granted. You were busy still continuing to fornicate. You were still rolling around in these streets ungrateful to God. You were still busy but doing whatever. And one day you got in a car accident and you actually died from a death curse that some evil guy that keeps on coming back into your life, or evil girl that keeps on coming back into your life, has cast finally successfully for the last time. The common grace of God is in operation for all of humanity. But there comes a time when if you don't respond to the gospel, God is going to let these people mow you to the ground. If at all witches got everything they wanted, upon like 1 minute, upon casting spells, I actually forgot all the name, but yeah, whatever, moving on. Upon casting, sorry, if the Lord allowed witches, I found my bearings again to succeed. like in everything that they tried, no one would live, no one would survive. There are so many of us. They live among us. They are colleagues in corporate. They are in our churches. They are at the malls. They live in the complexes where we stay. They're everywhere. Do you understand? That would be successful. There would be nobody that gets anywhere. There would be no pregnancy that reaches full term. There would be no successful business transaction that wins a man or a woman a tender. There would be no weddings happening. Nobody would graduate from university. They're crazy. They come against everybody's prosperity, including each other's. And so if the Lord allowed every last spell that every last one of these randos cast, there'd be no earth left for us to live on anymore. So you must understand that the common grace of God is richly operational in everybody's lives on earth. That's why I keep saying to people, it is irresponsible to look at me and think I'm cursed, because I am a Christian, meaning that I am among the most covered people on the earth. If the Lord can cover you with his common grace, if you don't know Jesus and he still covers you by his common grace, if you can still successfully interview for a job, if you can still successfully finalize a transaction where you're buying a car, if you can still successfully finalize a transaction where you're buying a home loan, if you can still successfully get a job promotion after interviewing with 5 other colleagues and they choose you, if you can still do that, it means that some animal that you're working with in the office, witchcraft, did not stick. It did not sit. So if at all, so if you don't know Christ yet, if you don't have a strong fervent relationship with Jesus yet, do not then look at Garabo, who clearly has a relationship with Jesus, and imagine her cursed. I am an optical illusion. I keep saying that over and over and over again. The common grace of God is in operation all throughout humanity. He is, 1 minute, he is protecting all of us from basically the earth imploding and everybody just falling apart. And the occult knows this. That's just the thing. Like anybody at all that is a member of a coven, anybody at all that is involved in some pretty dark, shoddy, nefarious stuff, especially as a concert, like in a group, not just the Bonabali one operating amateurly as a lone ranger, but I'm speaking groups, clusters, like witches in a coven or a secret society. Yeah, these people know that there are certain spells they cast that just land on what would be the tantamount of spiritual deaf ears. Like they go nowhere. Nothing happens. They attempt, they do a ritual, they chant, they grunt, but just like the prophets of Baal, they receive no burning of their sacrifices. And the reason that is the case is because in some instances God is like, no way, like no way, Jose, this time around, no, I refuse. And when the Lord refuses, entities, demons that are subject to God in and of themselves, fallen angels cannot effect it anyway. Because when fallen angels effect that which God has disallowed, they get bound in chains and put in that place before their time. That's why the Lord, when those unclean spirits came out of that man in the cave, they said, what do you want with us, son of man? Don't send us to that place yet, it's not yet time. Also, angels that left their first estate, when they say don't send us to that place yet, they're also speaking about the lake of fire. But more than anything, I'm speaking about the angels in the Old Testament, in the book of Genesis, that left their first estate because they lay with human women. They have been bound in chains, reserved for the basically great white throne judgment, and then the great white throne, not great white throne, sorry, but the lake of fire that they're going to get thrown into thereafter. So there is some holding place, some holding cell, some intermediary like place, jail, before going to the actual prison that some fallen angels are bound in today. It is like a jail, you know what I mean? Like there's jail and then there's prison. They are in jail. There are entities that are in jail right now, and their sentence is going to be given at the great white throne judgment, following which they're then going to be thrown into the prison, the permanent eternal sentence, which is the lake of fire. A lot of fallen angels and demons do not want to go even to that jail. They want to still continue to roam around freely. And so if they go out of their estate, if they disregard God, if they disobey what God will allow, in so saying, you will go this far and no further, he binds them in chains. Like there are currently angels that are bound at the great river Euphrates, and they will be let go or set free only in the tribulation. All of the fallen entities roaming freely the earth would not want to be bound first in jail and then go to a prison. They would much rather just go straight to prison without even jail. Like as in see a court trial and then go to prison. They want to delay their incarceration as far out as they possibly can. So a whole bunch of them are going to be held. They're going to be able to roam the earth until basically the end of the tribulation, where I believe with the devil they will be bound for 1,000 years and not be able to cause havoc, and then they will be set free for a brief season, right? After the 1,000 years is over, and then there will be the great white throne judgment, and then they're going to be permanently put in the lake of fire. So because fallen entities don't want to go to jail, given that they are anticipating going to prison, they will highly unlikely just disregard what God will allow them to do. You will go this far and no further. If they disregard what God will allow them to do, they understand that as soon as they get caught, which is pretty much immediately because God is omnipresent, they're going to get taken by the angels of God and put in jail, awaiting trial, that they might ultimately be put in prison. So granted that these fallen entities don't want that, when the Lord says you will go this far and no further, there is respect for that law. And that's why so many covens across the world, so many secret societies, all of these rando fools cannot achieve the success that they want to achieve all the time. They're still striving with what they call a recalcitrant human race to do what they want them to do. Here it is that on earth we've got these megalomaniacal global elites, do you understand, that want to control everything and everyone. Anybody at all that is rational, sober, and somewhat sensible knows that many of these, if not all of these global elites, are involved in some kind of esoteric practices. They're involved in dark arts. They do magic on the planet. Just like the kings of the earth from the Old Testament, they've been consulting with sorcerers and magicians. Our present kings and governors of the earth are no different from their forefathers. They're no different from Pharaoh, from Nebuchadnezzar. They are no different from Ahab. Kings of old have always been consulting with entities. They have been consulting with fallen angels for ages, and they're still doing it today. So you can trust that our global elites, many, if most, if not all of them, are involved in black magic. You know that what they want to do with us, they want to control us. They want to basically dictate what we're going to do, like a puppet on a string, telling us even what to eat the box. They are telling us, trying to tell us everything. They are trying to tell us what to drive, when to drive, how to drive, where to live, how far to drive out, if at all, rather walk. They are trying to dictate everything to us, including, like I said, made the jocose analogy in my previous part, they will even go out of their way to tell us not to get gas stoves, while their kingdom is essentially gassing the earth with, like, you know, pretense that witchcraft is not even a thing that is going on. They're very dictatorial. They are extremely fascist in their the core, their constitution, even though they're in denial about it. So if it was up to them, if it was up to the global elites who conduct seances, basically rituals at levels that are, I would imagine, at the height of principalities over entire nations, instead of regionally or locally, they could, if at all witchcraft indeed successfully can just be cast on anybody, control us like that. They could just basically deal with the prince over America, prince over South Africa, prince over Iran, prince over Uganda, prince over Australia, Canada, you get my point, and decide that, just like, what is this thing that I'm looking for? Spiritually, people are going to be put in a trance to just obey the rules that we have come up with. The Illuminati, or whatever might be the real name of that secret society, for a minute has been trying to control the world and religiosize it. They've been trying to extract religion out of the earth, especially Christianity, especially Christian Judaism. They've been trying to do away with the monotheistic religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, especially Christianity, because that is the only way that anybody goes to heaven at all. And they've been failing abysmally. If anything, like, proper at the height of their insanity, there was a Protestant Reformation that across the world evangelized so many nations, and then other nations were born from that Protestant Reformation. So they've been failing to stop Christianity from growing. They've been getting stopped, they've been getting thwarted, they've been like Pinky and the Brain, who try to take over the world but then fail just before they prosper. And the only reason that's the case is because entities are behind their works. Principalities are behind their works. Rulers, authorities, and spiritual wickedness in high places are behind their works. And these authorities, these rulers, these principalities, these fallen angels, these demons, these spiritual wickednesses in high places, they don't want to go to jail. They don't want to go to jail. They don't want to be bound in chains, not even at the great river Euphrates. They don't want to be bound in chains at all. And so if God says no to a particular seance being done by people, whatever their desire or their petition that they're sending up to their demon gods, God can just say no. And so they will have invested a whole bunch of energy and starved themselves fasting for the devil, cutting up the blood of babies, sacrificing all different kinds of blood, sweat, and tears to achieve a particular narrative in land. And if God says no, no is no is no. No is no is no. So these entities will basically be restricted. They will not be able to fulfill that command. So people in the occult are ones who are hugely unsatisfied with their craft. They know for a fact that it doesn't work 100% of the time. So every time they cast a spell, they do so in trepidation. They do it wondering if it's going to work this time or if not. And when it works, when their spells work, it's like their favorite team in sporting scoring a goal. It's like, you know, with the rugby, South Africa recently won the World Cup rugby by 1 meager point against New Zealand. And when they had won, they cheered like no man's business, but it was tense all throughout. There was no peace in the whole country throughout that match because of how neck and neck they were with New Zealand until they won by just 1 goal. The occult, when they succeed to bring something low, upon having cast a spell, they cheer like a team that won ever so marginally by just 1 goal. They won by just 1 goal, and so they cheer, they celebrate, they toast. They're grateful that it worked because really it could have gone the opposite direction, given that so many other spells have gone opposite directions. I got not a vision, but a word of knowledge like this afternoon, God telling me that these randos in the occult that are busy with me, especially the ones involved in secret societies, conducting seances, are freaking out in a passive aggression where I'm concerned, because I have apparently broken so many spells that now they're working tooth and nail to finally kill me and finish me off. And all I could ask God was, why did I break so many spells and not all of them? Why under heaven did I break only some of the spells they have cast on me and not all of them? And the answer that the Lord gave me was, you know why. It is an optical illusion. It is a strong delusion that I am sending them to imagine that there can be anything that sticks on my Christians. Anything at all that can stick on my Christians. So I will allow some of their spells to work, but others I won't allow them to work. Because at the end of the day, the sons of God gather around my throne every single day. And I will ask them, where have you been? And just like their father the devil, they will be like roaming to and fro the earth, up and about it. And then I will ask these entities, have you considered my servant Job? Have you considered my servant Karabo, Paul, Peter, and Cyrus? And these entities will be like, Karabo is this and that, and Paul, Peter, and Cyrus is that and the other. And the Lord will give them permission to do this much and no further. Then these entities will go and effectively, effect whatever it is that only God has allowed. So you cast a spell and these entities go to God and they ask for permission. Can we fulfill the spell against Karabo? And God will say, what you can fulfill is her being single for an entire decade, but you cannot kill her. And so basically the death spells fail, yet however the keep her single work. The block the YouTube channel from growing work. The block the this, and you wonder why. It is because just like Job, God has allowed for the devil to take away his children, take away his farm, take away his cows and sheep, take away his etc. Sheep and cow, yeah. Take away his clout from the wife, take away his clout in the community, get his boys dissing and teasing him, yeah, but you cannot kill him. Even put boils on his body, proper, take Karabo's skin away, give her acne, but you can't kill her. So death spells fail. However, we kept her single for a decade. However, we made sure her mother treats her like trash. However, we did, like all these other things that they were able to do. They cheered, just like South Africa winning the World Cup rugby by just 1 marginal point. However, next time, it could go any other direction. They are trepidatious at every spell they cast because they don't have full confidence in the prosperity of any spell they cast. They cross their fingers, hoping, crossing fingers of which really is more Christian analogy or metaphor, because the cross speaks to the cross of Jesus Christ, but you get my point. They hope and pray to their devils that this time it'll work. They invest a lot in these seances. A lot of times blood is shed. Like they shed blood in human sacrifices in order to make it stick, but sometimes it doesn't stick because it's a human sacrifice against a Christian that God has seen it fit to give another 50 years on earth. And if that's the case, literally you cannot, no one can speak and have it happen unless the Lord has first decreed it. So that is what explains my life, my stagnancy, and yet my miraculous survival of certain things that just aren't working. It's caused a great deal of confusion in witches, and all they can default to after they fail are more and more death spells that keep on failing because God has allowed entities to do this much and not much further. So entities cannot kill me, they can only suggest that I kill myself. So for as long as I am not ending my own life, Bafra, they are frustrated because they cannot kill me. A car accident, any other thing, a heart attack, a cancer, a brain aneurysm, nothing is working. They cannot spiritually end my life. They've got to wait for me to end my own life. So all they can do is send me lots of depression, lots of fatigue, lots of macabre, lots of stagnancy, just kind of freeze everything, hoping that I'm going to kill myself. And when I survive, they freak out. They don't know what to do. And they're not even repenting upon realizing that there is a power that this woman walks in. Why? Because God has handed them over their reprobate mind. They are tossed to and from by every wind of doctrine. They believe everything except for Jesus. And so, Hambani, met your antics. Do you with whatever under heaven you hope to achieve. Bottom line is, at the end of the day, you are going to be a violated conglomerate by the God on high. In heaven, he is going to humiliate the living daylights out of all of your endeavors if you do not repent. They've been given everything to make observations that witchcraft is unsuccessful at certain parts, and so therefore there must be a God that is thwarting this stuff. And if you still don't repent, Ison, Puman, Pelan, is that basic? You will die in your sins and be like, oh snap, like what? I was deceived. But by then it's already too late. You've already bitten the dust, and upon biting the dust, you are now biting hellfire. It's that basic. Like this little Badagwa America, he is facing the end of his life ever so imminently, and I cannot wait. With bated breath, I anticipate him breathing his last, because he is a pest and a pervert. Just this morning, I woke up to hearing some understanding coming from him along the lines of, no one loves her, no one cares for her except me. Oh really? You care for me, making sure that everybody is watered off out of my life, and you're the only thing looking at me. So I gotta take you and your HIV and your babies that you're not taking care of and your 2 ex-wives and all this random nonsense. I gotta take it because you're the only human being fashioned on this giant planet full of 8 billion souls that loves me. Oh wow, all that naivety. I can't wait for him to die. It's that basic. I'm at war with that dude. But there's yet another little incendiary buffoon that has just cast a spell similar to those that so many other people have been casting to get to me, because her sorcery failed abysmally to work. Because there are certain things people can do to me without being able to succeed against others. One thing people can't do to me in the occult is kill me. That is a done deal. They can't kill me. They've been trying. Another thing that cannot be done to me is the cessation of my ministry. That's not ever going to happen until such time that Christ takes the body of Christ home. Until the Lord has done talking through me, nobody will stop my ministry. I will at most struggle with speech lags and dottering computers and a sorrow concerning captions and all my qualms. Essentially, with recording these videos and ultimately getting them on YouTube, I could also be dealing with things like shadow banning and a lack of views, like all different kinds of strange things that might discourage me from continuing. But enablement through and through, 100%, to do the work that I do every single day, that has never ceased, not even one day out of all of these years that I've been working like this, because God has always intended for me to record my testimony. It has always been his plan for me to record every iota, every jot and tittle of my testimony. I was supposed to record it, jot it down, be it in my blog or speaking audio visually and uploading on YouTube. I will always be able to do this because this is purposeful. It is here to evangelize people, snatch them from out of the flames of hell, etc. And so I can never stop, even if I'm barely perused. So if I stop, it'll be because I throw in the towel. I capitulate to temptation. I follow after my own desires and so sin, and when I sin, therefore death is a brood in me. I am the one that can take myself to the end of myself by stopping Lomseben's Lona. But enablement to do this work will always be available, which is why I'm not concerned even about this choking, dottering iPhone of mine that is coughing, wheezing with emphysema like a geriatric. I'm not worried about it, because the moment this phone is no longer usable, I will miraculously be given another one. I will always be enabled to work, because I have made that observation all throughout these years, that God has always availed for me an ability to continue to testify, because that's how I overcome the devil, by the blood of the Lamb and the word of my testimony. So granted that this is not going anywhere, that can't be taken away. This here is not something that anybody can ever come up against, and there is a flagrant buffoon of monumental proportions, a gargantuan incendiary serpent of a female that came into my life slithering in like the devil that she was. A South African woman that thoroughly, after knowing me for all of 5 seconds, cast a spell to make me stop ministry. You see, all they can do is cast spells. All they can do is cast spells. But as Christians, we've been given authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means harm us. No weapon formed against us ever prospers. We condemn and refute every tongue that accuses us in the judgment. We overwhelm with a barrage their attempts at us, insofar as we hold fast to the Lord, stand on the rock, and recognize an affliction that is basically a circus act, an affliction that is a joke, laughable. We are enabled to recognize it as such when we are holding on to Jesus. That's what's good. So since I am aware with every bone in my body that I can't be killed, and secondly, no one can ever take away my ministry, when this woman rocked up with a flying kick like a bat out of hell, stopping my ministry, or at least attempting to, that's what's good. I saw that, oh, this is much like a death curse, a death spell. It'll bounce off me like oil on a baby's buttock, like proper. It'll bounce off like mahura that you put on your body in order to massage your lymph nodes in order to drain them out. It'll just bounce off, slip off, and nothing of it will catch. However, I will get the dreams, and I will get the depression, and I will get the despair, and I will get the feelings of discouragement. I will get the sorrow in my soul that makes me want to throw in the towel. That I will get. It's gonna come. However, I am the one that is to demolish arguments and every lofty pretension that exalts itself above the Most High, and hold into captivity every thought to the obedience of Jesus Christ. And if at all I'm scared and freaking out that my iPhone is dottering about like a geriatric that's also senile, passing the nurses in the nursing home shade and spitting on their shoes, even though they are pooping and peeing in a catheter, that's what's good. Even though that's what's going on, bottom line is, it's still going to continue to operate on my behalf. It will continue to work because that is something I'm always going to be able to manage to prosper to do, all the way up until the end. That cannot be stopped. All that can stop me is me not demolishing arguments. It's if I capitulate. It's if I allow anxiety to have such a field day with me that I then all of a sudden, out of nothing but fear, just sit back and do nothing and be like, but God, you're not helping me along. Sometimes I feel like crying when I think about my devices, my phone, and how it gives me so much grief. But it is still working. I will never just stop and because Iphonium is giving me a speech lag or whatever. Everything in my life is operating like a miracle. There was a time when this iPhone was not working at all. I had to keep it on the charger, but even then, and I basically was like, okay, whatever, I don't care, I've got the Android. As soon as the Android died, as soon as it passed away, the iPhone all of a sudden became reliable. So I am operating on a miracle right now. That's what you must understand. And when this iPhone reaches the end of its life, I will somehow miraculously get a new phone. I don't even know how it's gonna happen. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but when it does, I'm gonna rock up here and let you guys know I have a new phone. And it doesn't give me grief and heat. It doesn't give me problems and this and that and what fish paste, etc. It's gonna continue to happen. But this girl, this woman, tried to make me, just by messing with my statistics, messing with my hopes for the future, to just stop. Put a dead break on what I'm doing. With a perfectly functional phone, perfectly functional anointed mind that can speak the things of God, the oracles of God can pop through my mouth as like refreshingly and as daily as they do. Yeah, having a perfectly functional testifying machine. I was out here like speculated by some witch to just kind of down tools on that because she knows how to wave a magic wand a little minute. That random sensational buffoon. That's what's good. I had a dream of her going back to the drawing board where I am concerned, only because she could not come back. You see, this whole message, I'm talking about these random lackluster witches who bewitch friends, family members, everybody that they frankly kind of love. They kind of adore these people that they're bewitching, and they are hoping for dear life, crossing their fingers and pinching their buttocks and everything, that these people will not find out what they did to them. Unfortunately for most of you earthlings, witches like stick around you after Baholoy. They hang out in your lives. They want their bread buttered on both sides, and unfortunately for many people, they do get their bread buttered on both sides. They are the cousin that decimates your future and causes you to get a miscarriage, and then comes to visit you in the hospital when you are being stitched up by the doctor, who then is going to let you know some bad news that you are unfortunately infertile now. They're that cousin that's gonna go and comfort you when you are a mother, a woman that is broody with a violent maternal instinct that has just been told shattering news that you can no longer have babies because we're gonna have to perform a hysterectomy if you're gonna survive the thing that hemorrhaged you in your first pregnancy. When they did it, she's gonna be the one comforting you and hugging you. And the reason why she did that is because she wanted to mess with your marriage between you and your husband, and you were doting happy trying to start a family with like 7 kids, and now you're told that you can't have any of your own biological children, therefore causing your husband to have a really hard time accepting that and thinking about going to go and grab a mistress, a bit of a Hagar out there, to put a biological baby in a woman's womb so as to feel like a man that can indeed make babies. And this woman, all she is stranded with now is adopted babies, and also accepting her husband, basically making biological children with some other women out there because she can't make them. And this is now the work of a best friend or a best cousin or whatever that is doing this because she's jealous of the marriage. This thing, you can conquer that darkness, you can conquer that infertility by going to Jesus and having him supernaturally heal you. But at that stage, you're so lost, you're so devastated, you don't know much about the gospel, you have not been preached to, so all you embrace in your stride is a hysterectomy way too early before going for a second opinion in heaven on high, because he on high is the one that can correct a strange induced hysterectomy in a 23-year-old woman. That's what these people do. They stick around in your life after Baholoy, and they surveil it, and they keep the people in their lives that they love, that they afflicted with witchcraft, and so they get to have their cake and eat it too. Unless of course you're Garabo, and then God gives you a spiritual gift, and your best cousin who wanted to see you grovel, break your teeth on the pavement, and then come to the dentist as you are being given falsies in your mouth and say, girl, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Come and pamper you after a D-Ding. I had a brazen best friend properly try to call me on my birthdays. I ignored enough of them until eventually she called my mom, who gave me the phone. And I was like, as a grandship, why on phone? Cause waloy. Yeah. Tried to check up on me after she messed with my marriage prospects and career. And I knew what she did because Kimulori. And when I told her, guess what she did? Oh, how they love to do this. I can't stand them. Gaslighter. Like freaking carbon monoxide all up in my grill. That's what's good. She went and told my mom, your daughter's crazy. Like, and my mom, of course, yelled at me on her behalf because everybody goes to my mother to get to me through them. They use my mother as a weapon on me. It's like I'm a pinata and she's a bat. So they use her as a yeah, you get my point. Yeah, I told her where to get off, and the way that she took out a squinch on me was getting my mother to, kind of slap me around a little bit with her like vitriol. That's what's good. Yeah, such people, they will gaslight the living daylights out of you. It's why like pumani pale. Like, get out of my life. Like, bro, but just steer clear. Like, don't you even dare look at me. Because they will gaslight you to a point of putting you in a psychiatric hospital wearing a stray suit just because you busted them flying on a broom. Just because you busted them doing witchcraft. They will act as if though nothing happened. And you are paranoid. Trusting the world around you to also agree that you're paranoid. And so therefore putting the wrong person in a psychiatric hospital on medication too. Putting the wrong person on tranquilizing meds. The right one, oh bonang sentle, ken, ototna plomilo ko Sterkfontein, cause some witch, God garnered for herself support in a community to claim that umuntu is a paranoid schizophrenic cause ubizum tagat. All my girls from high school, when all of your friends, all 6 of them, when all of them All of them have put a spell on you and you know it. Of course, when you like claim these things on a rooftop, everybody's gonna be like, yo, Karabo went crazy. One day she accused of this and that and that. All of them accused all of them of witchcraft. Until years progress and it becomes clear, it doesn't make sense. And they're always speaking smack about her. While Karabo is completely sober on the rooftops, me continuing like this for years and recording my testimony has enabled me to come out innocent on the other side. I am now clearly above reproach in a way that makes them look culpable. But in the beginning, everybody believed their lies because Karabo accused everyone of sorcery. They are seriously speaking, she's crazy. Until it became clear that they're the ones that need stray suits. They're the ones that need to be put on a cocktail of medication that's going to make them tranquil and catatonic for the rest of their lives. Because they cannot be trusted with anybody's life. Can't be trusted with not a single person's life. I can't stand them. Yes, like it. If it was not for the coverage of Jesus Christ, with the kind of spiritual gifting that I have, right? I would have been thrown into a psychiatric hospital. I would have been entirely accurate. I would have known that I would have known, but I would have been the one to be thrown in a psychiatric hospital and be made catatonic, comatose kind of like, literally unmoving like a zombie for the rest of my life. Put on meds, innocent. Trickle a tear coming down my face just from the thoughts in my mind, given that I can't move my body. Swaying in a wheelchair in a psychiatric hospital where they're checking to see underneath my tongue if I have swallowed my medication every single day. I would have had that done to me by people that would have not only bewitched my life, but they are, assassins in this world. They keep on bulleting anybody at all that they're given a contract to bring down. So they are little terrorists in the office, Hamas, breaking into kibbutz, proverbial kibbutz, and chopping babies in half. They're taking people's wombs, they're taking people's careers, yeah, you get my point. Everywhere they go officing boo boo boo. The only reason why more people are not in psychiatric hospitals because of witches is because most people don't know that what witches have done to them. Most people don't know. And so if you don't know, they leave you alone to thrive and live your falling apart life in peace. But the moment you find them out, they will gather together in their carbon monoxidic numbers and kill you with a silent gas. They will exsanguinate you and extinct you from the timeline. They will erase you from society, and in concert with one another, in consensus with one another, they will basically agree that Karabo uyahlanya when Karabo is rather accurate. And since Karabo is accurate, all it evidences is an epidemic of sorcery in the country so exorbitant that a woman was bewitched by an entire crew of girlfriends from high school, a whole bunch of them from university, a whole bunch of colleagues, a whole bunch of residents in the complexes where she used to stay, and her family members. Like, prop, how many people in South Africa have got their hands like just reddened with blood? How many people in South Africa have got blood on their hands? If I've got that many witches in my personal life, how many witches do you have around you? So do you see why it's important to have yourself a god that's going to drive away the chaff on your behalf? It is not safe for everybody to have a spiritual gifting that tells them what every lost witch in town is doing, because these guys tend to prosper to put people in psychiatric hospitals that are not sick. They tend to prosper. So most people should actually frankly be spared from knowing. But while being spared from knowing, what people are in dire need of is being protected anyway, in spite of their ignorance. And Christ is the one that drives the chaff away on your behalf. I am the taboo that the occult wants to annihilate and neutralize, because I'm not the cousin that you visit in hospital after you caused her miscarriage. I'm not the cousin that you comfort at the funeral of her husband after you made her a widow. I am not the cousin you comfort after, she loses her job, all of a sudden getting fired without cause. And you're like, girl, I'm sorry that happened to you when you caused the loss of her career. I'm not that cousin. I'm the one that says, that messed with the minds of the people in my job. Don't come and chill with me. Do not come and help me move my furniture when I'm being evicted from my apartment, seeing as you made sure I don't have a job to continue to pay rent anymore. You are the reason why I'm losing everything. So proper, stay far away from me. Stay far. Keep yourself a nice healthy distance from me. Lest you should come and muddy my sheets. Lest you should come and muddy my ecosystem. Lest you should come and put your trademarks on my freaking white carpet. Like, stay far away. Stay far away. But not everybody has that. Let the Lord drive these randos away from you. Let the Lord do that. This little menacing freak from South Africa. I had a dream of her being upset with me given, okay, that I see these things they do. She dissed me, teased me, tried to use my mother against me, and I had a dream where she was trying to sow discord between me and my mom, so I will be miserable. Every so often my mom bounces back from her insanity and so therefore supports me and gives me what I need. I recently made a purchase of new hyaluronic acid. I recently made a purchase of basically skincare products that I need to keep myself looking good. That chick had given me a donation of $700, and with the money that she gave me, I was able to buy skincare products that kept me looking plump, even though I wasn't able to find anything to clear my skin. She recently listened to a video of mine where I was talking about how it is that my mother is financing my skincare routine. She envies me. She can't stand my physical beauty. Later, I still have a future. I hope. She compromised. She settled. She capitulated to the kind of guy that the American guy was in my life, because only compromised, only busy like a man with HIV that slipped into her life and gave her the disease. And ever since then, she's been very embittered against God and a lawyer, everybody around all over the show. So basically, because of her fallen state, God handed her over to a man that tricked her into sleeping with him, Akula. And now she looks at my life and listens to my testimony from a distance, upset and gnashing her teeth, imprisoned by the decision she made in the past. And now she is trying to cause anything of mine to fall apart. She tried to make me stop my ministry. That did not work. She came back, of course, because they always do. But because she can't come back into my life and say, hey girl, it's been a minute, since she can't talk to me, holler at me, knock on my door, talk to we can't fellowship anymore. Now she's trying to sow discord between me and my mom, so she does not have to click on my content and watch me getting everything I need in order to live a life in godliness anyway. And my mother is a vessel that God is using to finance anything at all that I need, lest I can't do it for myself. It's been happening like clockwork for the past almost decade that I've been in this position, in this situation. And I don't know how many people have come up against my mom to try and cause me to lose a source of provision, to cause a fight so I won't get what I need, either from my mom, or some have gone even to the extent of trying to kill my mom. And I've had to stand in the gap to prevent that death from happening, because without her I am apparently severed, cut off from all manner of survival. She won't be the first person to sow discord between me and my mom to block me from continuing in prosperity in what it is that I'm doing. So that random woman that has been handed over to her reprobate mind, then, and it turns out they get brought back like a boomerang, like a pendulum. They swing right back again to where it is that they started. And their intention, mababuya, is never to repent. It is never to say, oh snap, I shouldn't have done that, I feel like crap, that I tried to destroy a person's life. It is always to try and finish what they freaking started. And so she has sown discord between me and my mom. But in my dream, my mom morphed into my dad. My dad is late now, but when he was alive, he was a deadbeat dad. He was entirely irresponsible. He was never there all of our lives. He was the kind of person that anybody could have used against his daughters, and he would not have had qualms with it. My mom, however, has been with us all of our lives. And so she tends to snap out of rubbish a lot easier than my dad ever could, because my dad never developed affection for us given that he was absent. And so my mother can never be indefinitely used by people, because that maternal instinct always kicks back in. I apologize for the speech lag. The maternal instinct always kicks back in, that after afflicting me for a season, she always goes back to what is better. She hasn't done a 100% perfect thing, but she has certainly never maintained a stead of persecution against me just indefinitely wire with no reprieve to a point of me being left destitute. That's never happened, and God has made sure that that is the case. So the thing that this woman can never ever get to in my mom is the fact that she will at the end of the day always bounce back or default to a severity of guilt and a severity of sorrow when she leaves me out in the cold for too long. So even my sorrow concerning a phone that I'm struggling with is very highly likely going to be eradicated by my mom. She's probably going to go and get a new phone for herself and give me the one that she has now. So when I come, Lana, your phone in the next month or two, understand it will be because my mom would have been so burdened by how much my phone gives me trouble that she will have given me her own and bought her own phone, or gone on and pinched her budget and bought me a new second-hand iPhone from Kotlewood. Even this iPhone that I have right now, I was surprised, I was shocked when I got it. One day, she brought home the iPhones A2, one for my little sister and one for me. And when she gave me this iPhone, the phone that I was using at the time was basically dead for something like 2 weeks. It was barely switching on. It would not stay on for more than 2 hours. And I thought that she would leave it lingering as it is. And then 2-3 weeks later, she had pinched her budget, me and iPhone 6. Go the iStore, both me and my sister. It's been a couple of years now and this phone is dying. When this phone started to die, she gave me her old phone, Huawei. And it was able to work, and then it died first before this iPhone. So I guess that it basically it confirms that iOS trumps Android any day. It's got far greater staying power. It's got a lasting power. That's why I like Apple products. They've got far greater lasting power than any other software on the market. Never mind software, but also hardware. But this cell phone my mom gives 500 rand every single month. She noticed that I stopped getting donations. And the reason I stopped getting them is because God allowed demons to work. Like this guy from America cast a spell to make sure that nobody ever helps me along. Nobody ever enables me unless it is him. And so, chock-a-block, he was handed over to a reprobate mind. So I've been getting no money at all. I thought it was going to be dry. I thought I was not going to get my products anymore. I thought I was not going to get my cinnamon, all the things I need, my turmeric. Yeah. And then one month my mom was like, okay, here's money. And she gave me 500 randanyana. It's nothing, but it gets what I need. It gets my tampons. It gets me small little things that I need. And now she's also financing my skincare apart from that 500 bucks. So wherever it is that everything else of people fall apart, my mom always comes back and puts it together with sticky tape. So tabauke I can phone like this what do you call this e-wallet that she gives me every single month. I need a cell phone in order for me to access it. And the most recent one that she sent me, I didn't even get a notification the way phone is. And she was like, but Karabo, why don't you tell me that you got the e-wallet? I was like, I didn't know. I had to go and put in some USSD code, some funny little hashtag code to figure out if the e-wallet came in at all. It did. And it took me a good week and a half to finally access the e-wallet the way my phone was not working. And the whole week I've been asking my mom to help me along. SIM card phone in your house so I can try and get the e-wallet. It's this, and she's been like, hey man, just try this, try that. Airtime, it's 20 kilo airtime, make 5 rand. She's been listening to these things. And one of these days, just like she did in 2016, I don't know when, under heaven, this iPhone came into my life. It was second-hand from the iStore. Yeah. One of these days, she's gonna rock up and be like, yeah, phone. And I will then have a new phone. There was this past week, she wanted to talk to me about something. She's dropped a note outside the door here on some call me. I sent her an email and said, I can't call you because my phone is not catching onto the network. I cannot phone. Or told. She said nothing. But I am pretty certain that one of these days she is going to get me a phone. Either she's going to get herself a new phone or she's going to go to the iStore and get me the cheapest phone there that is second hand. And pinch her budget and tell herself, I mean really, Karabo can't be without a phone. And then I'm going to be recording from a brand spanking new device that's going to give me at least another 2 years of juice. Another 3 years of juice. This iPhone, I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a minute. It's been a minute that I have had it. So, I mean really and truly, Chiki from South Africa. Really busy. I told you you will die. I told you you'll cry a heart attack. Like chilling in your bed, you're gonna find yourself in eternity. You are still not repenting. You are trying to sow discord between me and my mom. People have been trying for years, but my mom is not my dad, you see. She raised me. Blood, sweat, and tears. And every so often when she looks at her abandonment of me, she feels like, oh, sensei, it's like a waste of effort. Like baking something in an oven. And then when it is almost finished baking, letting it flop, it feels like a waste. Already, and it makes her very uncomfortable. So every so often she bounces back because who in the world carries a baby for 9 months, raises it, and then just lets it merely exist? Just like to merely exist, having nothing at all to itself. What kind of a human being in 2023 doesn't have a cell phone? What kind of a woman that is of childbearing age that gets her period is struggling to get her tampons in 2023 when she has a whole family? My mother always bounces back. That's what I'm getting at. Enough to recognize that how in the world am I going to allow my daughter to not have a cell phone in 2023? And so I'm gonna have a recording device very soon. No matter how much you might want to sow discord between me and my mom, the witchcraft that you send my family makes them glitch and twitch for 5 seconds, but they always come out of that so guilty. My little sister as well as another one. When she is made to twitch and glitch and act a fool all up in my grill, she ends up inevitably so guilty that she will wash the dishes for like a whole week non-stop, and then she will default into a random lazy slothful insanity. But they can't maintain being evil towards me. They just cannot keep it up. So keep coming at my family and expect my little sister to treat me like some hobo on the side of the street without glitching and twitching and realizing this is insane. Keep trying to get my mom to see me as njefela rubbish that doesn't make sense, even though she carried me for 9 months. Keep trying. Your witchcraft leaks like a bucket with holes in it. It's worthless like a penny with a hole in it. It is porous, it is leaking, and it does not hold water. It cannot stick because you're dealing with human beings that are made in the image of God with their own cognition, their own sense of what is this? They've got their own moral compass, their own sense of what is right and what is wrong. Their consciences are still intact. They have not been taken altogether away like zombies. You can't just control people like a puppet on a string. That's why your witchcraft sometimes fails when you try to sow discord between families. Some people feel guilty and then they reconcile. And that's when you get upset and you scratch yourself as some itchy little witch in a corner. You're scratching yourself. Why did that couple, after separating, reconcile? Why did they get back together, that husband and wife pair? It's because you are not God, Zeus. It's because you're not God. Genie in a bottle. You're not God, Satan, do it. Trying to puppet people on a string. You cannot control sentient human beings with a thriving conscience indefinitely. If at all it was possible for you to do that, understand the global elites would have long ago made the whole planet puppets on a string that are all in tandem with the climate change agenda, with Agenda 23, but 2030, sorry, all that jazz. Everybody would be in agreement with the World Economic Forum and the United Nations. Everybody. The way you hope it to work. Mara South Africa, this chick, I've been dreaming about her for the past couple of nights, and I have been ignoring it because I didn't want to raise her because she is literally that irrelevant. But that little bugger misses me, wishes she had not messed up, and the way that she reacts to me knowing that she is a witch is by sowing discord so as to finish me off. Yeah, well, she's going to crash and burn into the sentiency of my mom, who, even though every so often allows herself to be swung to and from like a pendulum, ultimately stands still in one position and recognizes that what I'm doing is rubbish and it must stop. My mom is not going to be your little horse that you can ride on. South Africa. I don't know how many times you have to be told to repent. Do not allow your HIV status to take you to hell. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet lose his soul? Ubita, we get it. But that bitterness of yours, no huisa di heleng. Otlo cha wankutla. Otlo cha. Kita ba rona ntse le busy o loya mosadi. O mo tlhoetseng taba ya hore o emetse morana Jesu in a way that you did not. On top of that, ga o ntsebe. You're a complete stranger that met me online and you have invested imali yakho, your hard-earned salary, on a stranger. O busy ontso o iketsetsa ditlhare ko kitchening ya gago, hape o tshakela disangoma, ontso o reka paraphernalia le dijo tse di sebedisetsang boloi. Hololo ya motho that you met on the internet. Kaze, if you can bewitch a person you met on the internet, o ba yenza nabantu ba sebenza nabo in the office. O ba etsang batho ba o ba tsebang dichomi tsa hao, o ba etsang batho ba ko heno family. What are you doing to nephews and nieces? What in the world are you doing to those closest to you if you can invest so much witchcraft in a stranger you met on the internet that doesn't even like you anymore? Because how dare you? You need an exorcism, wankutla. You need to have somebody deliver you out of that rubbish, wankutla. You have got to conquer lo mona wako. Lengulaza in your body. You went while you're ingat you're making a collection from a man that you are not supposed to fornicate with in the first place. Because you could not continue to wait and you fornicated. And now you are hating on everybody that waited on Christ and did not therefore bear the consequences of sexual sin. At this point, you are facing since you called yourself umzalwane. Those who were closest to the light will be beaten with many more blows. You have been warned. Lesu la go kokotela girl. Ubhizi kanzalwane that is already so troubled. She is already so embittered. She is already dealing with so many demons. She is already in such a cataclysmic spiritual war. How kata mo tlo batla go lo swingisa mewaka like an orangutan on a rope or like Tarzan on some watch out for the destruction of the daughter. O batla. Also, what discord between brothers. There is no more despised thing that the Lord hates than a man who sows discord between brothers. O ya di heleng. Wait again, hitting the ground running. Onto tshwatla ke le meno. Ke a ka re benta wa nkutla. Because if you don't, di binyana tsa gago are nothing in comparison to a lifetime of ubuthakathi. Angazi ukuthi grasha bubani okufundise lenyongo. Mara, taba re hape, una le batho ba ba loileng in whose lives you are. Means or God has had grace on you. Because the cherry, the outi kaofela that you can still call, that you can still say hello, basa go fe attitude. Baba loileng means or the Lord has seen it fit to make sure that you are given time to repent this time around, or you have crashed into a person with a spiritual gifting. And that was God saying, repent, because next time, ikazam yako, ewitakatayo na ngzoibonisa. Next time, your boss omo loyang, kitlomo bonsa. Next time, your colleague omo loyang, kitlomo bonsa. Next time, your friend, you're going to be like the witch in the village that gets literally called out to be burned at the stake by villagers with their pitchforks because they're mad at Tabauri. You won't let them live. Don't say I didn't warn you. But wait, do it. Stop trying to come into the lives of people you have bewitched. Because next time, you might just crash into a karabo and she will be the end of you. You've been warned. I'm signing out in Christ's name, Kran K. Bye.